The apocalypse is here. After my buddy betrayed me and slept with my wife, I decided to empty out an entire city's supplies. My name is Chen. Just moments ago, the knife that was plunged into my chest was actually held by the wife I love most, and the man sneering with glee as he sent me to my grave was actually the good brother I risked my life to save from a snowdrift in the apocalypse. Wang Hao. They killed me, not just to steal my spatial ability, but Wang Hao also leaned in and whispered a truth that shattered me. The son I raised for 2.5 years, scrimping and saving to provide for, was actually their love child. A perfect murder. What a pair of monsters. With endless hatred, I drew my last breath. Manager Chen. My secretary's voice rang in my ears. I jolted awake, drenched in cold sweat. Before me wasn't the frozen, apocalyptic wasteland, but an air-conditioned room, floor-to-ceiling windows, and my secretary in black stockings. I pulled out my phone. August 1st, 2080. I had actually been reborn, half a month before the apocalypse arrived. In 15 days, snow would suddenly fall across the globe. Temperatures would plummet. Humanity would enter an ice age. 90% of life would go extinct. The living would eat each other. I instinctively waved my hand. The cup on the desk vanished instantly, then reappeared just as fast. Wild joy surged in my heart. My spatial ability was still here. In my past life, my ability awakened too late. Supplies were already gone, but this time, I wield this spatial power. I have a god's eye view. In the apocalypse, a pack of instant noodles could buy a life. A single sausage could shatter someone's dignity. This time, I will hoard a massive amount of supplies and weapons. As the saying goes, my neighbor hoards grain, I hoard guns. My neighbor becomes my granary. I quickly made a plan. Step 1. Get money and hoard supplies. 1 ton of gold, sell the house, sell the car, turn all my assets into hard currency for the apocalypse. Step 2, revenge. I swiftly wrapped up company business, got in my car and drove straight home, since fate gave me a second chance. Su Qingyan, Wang Hao, what you owe me, I'll make you pay back 1,000-fold. I rushed home. Just as I reached the bedroom door, I heard flirtatious laughter from inside. Su Qingyan was cooing to Wang Hao, worried I'd find out she was carrying his child, and that bastard Wang Hao had the nerve to say I was a useless fool. I'd never find out. They'd keep using me as their sucker to raise his son for him. They were even scheming to get more money out of me, so they could buy a sports car and go joyriding. Listening to them grind my dignity into the dirt under their feet, the memory of my brutal death last time flooded my mind again. Want me to raise your bastard? Want to live it up with my money? In your dreams. I didn't hold back. I kicked the door right off its hinges. This $10 million mansion is yours. I'll leave with nothing. To divorce my cheating ex-wife, I was willing to give up my house worth millions. She thought she'd won big. Little did she know, this house was the funeral pyre I built for her. Just moments ago, when I caught them in the act, that homewrecker Wang Hao wasn't even fazed. He even blamed me for bad timing, for interrupting their fun. And Su Qingyan, to keep her meal ticket, lied about being pregnant with my child. In my past life, this trick bled me dry. I even took out loan shark debts and died a miserable death. But this time, I slapped her back, right across her face. If you don't want your video circulated to the whole neighborhood, come with me to the Civil Affairs Bureau now. Of course, I don't actually have a video, but for people with a guilty conscience, that's enough. Sure enough, Su Qingyan was scared. But she had one condition. We can divorce, but the house goes to her. Looking at her greedy face, I agreed without hesitation. Just as Su Qingyan got her divorce papers, and she and Wang Hao dreamed of selling the house, buying a sports car, and living the high life, I had already turned around and walked into a loan platform. I took the property deed still in my name and mortgaged it for a loan. I asked for $5 million in cash, agreed to repay it with interest in 13 days. Why 13 days? Because 15 days from now, the apocalypse arrives. I left them one extra day for the loan sharks to repossess the house. On the 13th day, while Su Qingyan and Wang Hao were still dreaming, what awaited them were vicious loan sharks and the despair of being thrown out. Seeing the $5 million hit my account, I smiled. Using my money to support her lover, this time, I'll make you homeless. Freeze to death in the snow, with $5 million in hand. But this is just the first step in stockpiling. In the apocalypse, a safe house, weapons, supplies. Each one is a money pit. I've had my eye on an antique that surfaces tomorrow. It's a $200 million steal. This time, I must get it. After dark, I went to the city's fanciest restaurant to get a good meal first, but I just sat down when someone grabbed my collar. You good for nothing. You're not home taking care of my sister, but here enjoying yourself alone? Looking at this disgusting face in front of me, I smiled. Isn't this Su Qingyan's vampire of a brother, Su Qingyan? Great, since your whole family is lining up for a beating, I'll gladly oblige. You're the one sleeping with your girlfriend. Why should I pay the bride price? Does that mean I get to sleep with her too? Looking at the guy in front of me, My ex-brother-in-law, who thought it was perfectly reasonable to demand $500,000 from me. I laughed. Just moments ago, my freshly divorced ex-brother-in-law, Su Qingyan, showed up with his gold-digging girlfriend, Zhao Qian, and cornered me. They wanted me to foot their bill. Watching Zhao Qian put on airs and order a $688 steak, I didn't get angry. Instead, a mocking smile spread across my face. Since you want to eat, I'll let you eat your fill. I deliberately provoked Su Qingyan. What's a steak without red wine? It's just not the same. That idiot, to impress the gold digger, didn't even look at the price. He just ordered a bottle of wine for $19,000. Watching them, frantically taking pictures to show off, I wolfed down my food. In the apocalypse, I ate cockroaches and tree bark for 2 years. This hot meal in front of me was a feast for someone who just got reborn. It was heaven, and that clown Su Qingyan was still there dreaming. He ordered me to transfer him the $500,000 bride price by noon tomorrow. Brother-in-law, you have to pay this bride price. Hearing that, my eyes turned ice cold. Are you out of your damn mind? We're not even related. Why should I pay? Su Qingyan was stunned. Then, furious, he swung a fist at me, but his body, wasted by booze and women, was no match for me. I kicked him, sent him flying 6 feet back. Watching him clutch his stomach and howl, I coldly pulled out that still-warm divorce certificate and slapped it right in his face. See for yourself. I'm already divorced from your sister. If you think you're getting money from me, try again in your next life. The commotion drew the manager in security. Su Qingyan ranted like a rabid dog, trying to get the manager to deal with me, but I didn't even glance his way. I turned to the manager and dropped a bombshell. I want to book 100 tables of your top-tier banquet. $10,000 per table. I'll pay a $500,000 deposit up front. Do we have a deal? The manager instantly went from menacing to a groveling lapdog. I transferred the $500,000 on the spot. That was my prep for stockpiling cooked food before the apocalypse. But to everyone else, this was the power of a top-tier tycoon. With the banquet settled, I turned to look at the stunned gold digger, Zhao Qian. That loser Su Qingyan only has $2,000 in his pocket. That's not even enough to cover the tip on that bottle of wine. The corner of my mouth curled up into a wicked smirk. Right in front of Su Qingyan, I extended an invitation to his fiancée, Zhao Qian. This guy's pockets are emptier than his head. He can't give you the life you want. Why don't you consider marrying me instead? Just say the word, and I'll give you $1 million in bride price. Seeing the instant flash of greed in Zhao Qian's eyes, I knew the real show was just beginning. Sis, that loser actually hid millions in secret savings. We've been played. Listening to my ex-brother-in-law's heart-wrenching screams over the phone, my greedy ex-wife, Su Qing, completely lost it. She thought I left with nothing, that I was a penniless bum. Little did she know that the current me just received $200 million. Rewind to last night, outside the restaurant, after I dangled the bait of $1 million betrothal gift. Zhao Qian, that gold digger's eyes, instantly changed. She looked at me like I was a gold mine. I left without a care, leaving that idiot Su Qingyan to face a $25,000 bill, trying to dine and dash. The manager called security. They pinned him down and roughed him up. In the end, the loser could only cry and call his sister. Su Qing, that enabler brother, was furious. But to bail him out, she had to scrape the money together. After Su Qingyan got home, he immediately snitched to Su Qing, saying I splurged $1 million on a banquet. Su Qing exploded when she heard. She thought I'd been faking poverty and hiding money all along. So then, my phone started blowing up. Seeing the word wife on the screen, I let out a cold laugh. Before, I scrimped and saved for this family, pinching every penny. $200 a month for allowance, and I had to watch her mood. Now that she knows I have money, she's calling more than anyone. I didn't hesitate for a second. Hung up directly. Blocked. Don't even try. I'm a busy man. That night, I stayed in a 5-star hotel's Imperial Suite. I ordered from every top restaurant and delivery service in the city. Barbecue, seafood, Buddha jumps over the wall. I frantically stored all these soon-to-be extinct delicacies in my space. In just half a night, I spent over $2 million more. The feeling of spending money recklessly was incredible, but this was just small time. Early the next morning, I headed straight to the antique street. Using my memories from my past life, I intercepted a blue and white porcelain that was supposed to be discovered half a month later. To save time, for a treasure worth $250 million, I offered $200 million flat, $200 million in cash, transferred. Now, I had the capital to become king in the apocalypse. The first thing I did with the money was head straight to the city's most luxurious residential district, Yudai Longting. Why here? Because Su Qing's family lives here. I'm going to transform a place right under their noses into an impenetrable, safe house. When the apocalypse arrives, I'll be eating hot pot, watching them freeze into ice sculptures outside my window. Fueled by the thrill of revenge, I strode into the sales office, but as soon as I entered, the sound of high heels approached. Qinfeng, what are you doing here? I looked up. It was that gold digger from last night, Zhao Qian. She looked at me, her eyes filled with surprise and greed, like a wolf spotting a rabbit. What? Changed your mind? Ready to ditch Su Qingyan for that million-yuan bride price? Seeing her barely contain eagerness to please, I knew this revenge game was getting more and more interesting. Zhao Qian, I'm very satisfied with the house, but I have one request. Looking at the woman in front of me, who, for that $1 million commission, actively changed into that little black dress, and pulled her neckline down as low as it could go, I smiled. Rewind half an hour. When I walked into the sales office, and specifically asked to see the $100 million villa number 3, Zhao Qian's eyes practically popped out of her head. At that moment, I was no longer the ex-brother-in-law she looked down on. I was a walking gold mine. To close this deal, she immediately went to change her outfit. She went into all-out seduction mode, seeing how she was practically trying to glue herself to me. I didn't hold back at all. I just took her hand, and headed to the villa for a test drive. Even though some big celebrity named Lin Chen was nearby, calling me a creep, so what? In the apocalypse, dignity is the cheapest thing, and what I have now is the capital to buy everyone's dignity. Meanwhile, that idiot Su Qingyan also came to the sales office. He was foolishly asking people where Zhao Qian went. The other salespeople looked at him with pity and mockery in their eyes. Someone even said sarcastically, Qian's gonna hit the jackpot this time. You better treat her well from now on. After all, a woman as capable as her is hard to find. Su Qingyan was still grinning like a fool, thinking his fiancée was really just selling a house, until he hid by the break room door and overheard the salespeople's most vicious gossip. That simp Su Qingyan is probably gonna end up with nothing, that rich guy said. Who knows what the two of them are doing now? $1 million commission. I'd jump at that chance too. Su Qingyan's nothing. Every word was like a slap across his face, shattering his dignity to pieces. Su Qingyan completely lost it. He kicked the door open and charged like a rabid dog towards villa number 3. How dare you touch my woman? I'll kill you. He ran all the way there, and just happened to see Zhao Qian and me walking out of the villa. Zhao Qian's face was flushed, clinging to my arm intimately. That sight was the final straw. That broke Su Qingyan. You good-for-nothing loser. You're coming after me now. Ha! He roared, and swung his fist at me. Watching Su Qingyan charge at me, I didn't dodge. Instead, I pulled Zhao Qian even closer, facing this enemy, who sucked me dry in my past life. This time I won't just destroy him mentally. I'll make him taste the bitterness of being betrayed by the whole world. Go ahead, Su Qingyan. Take a swing at me. Let's see if your dear fiancé helps you, or helps me. When that loser swung his fist and charged at me, I not only kicked him flying, but also witnessed an even better scene. His fiancée, Zhao Qian, actually rushed right up to him and yelled at him, haven't you caused enough trouble? So what if Mr. Chen hit you? You deserved it. Listen to that. For $100 million in commission, this gold digger has completely lost her mind. Su Qingyan wasn't willing to give up. He struggled to get up and fight me to the death, but Zhao Qian held him back. Zhao Qian, looking utterly disgusted, apologized to me. Then she turned to Su Qingyan and gave him a furious scolding. Enough! How much longer are you going to keep acting so unreasonably? You're a failure yourself. Fine, you don't have a job, but do you have to ruin my job too? Su Qingyan was completely stunned. He couldn't believe that the woman he was desperately protecting would actually side with an outsider and say such things to him. I watched them tearing each other apart with amusement, feeling absolutely thrilled inside. Too bad the apocalypse is still half a month away. Otherwise, today, I definitely wouldn't have let him off so easily. Seeing how nervous Zhao Qian looked, the corner of my mouth curled up. I wasn't that keen on this villa to begin with, but given your excellent service attitude, I've decided to go for it. Let's sign the contract. Hearing this, Zhao Qian instantly pushed Su Qingyan away. Her eyes lit up as she pulled me along to sign the contract. $100 million villa. I paid for it in full, up front. The smooth, effortless speed of the payment completely shocked Su Qingyan, who was watching from the sidelines. He finally realized that the useless brother-in-law he looked down on was hiding far more than just a few million. After signing the contract, I took the keys. Before leaving, I deliberately provoked him. I gave Su Qingyan a look and said to Zhao Qian, you just finished exercising. Go home and get some rest. I'll call you when I need you again. I'm talking about the exercise from running around the villa earlier, checking out the place. But what Su Qingyan thinks, that's none of my business. Sure enough, the moment I left, the conflict between Su Qingyan and Zhao Qian erupted completely. Su Qingyan, furious, confronted Zhao Qian. Did you really sleep with that loser? Zhao Qian immediately put on the act of a victim. She turned it around on him. Are you done yet? I was looking at the house, and I accidentally fell. If it weren't for Chen Feng helping me, I would have been hurt worse. Not only are you not thanking him, you almost ruined my deal. She knew that before she could hook up with me, she had to keep Su Qingyan in check first. So while pretending to defend herself, she also used my wealth to provoke him. Look at Chen Feng, just casually bought a villa worth $100 million. If you don't work harder, how can I entrust my future to you? Provoked into a frenzy, Su Qingyan ran straight home. He shouted to the whole family, Sis, Mom, Dad, we're rich. That loser bought Villa number 3. It's worth 100 million. This news hit the Su family like a thunderbolt. 100 million. Where did he get that kind of money? His ex-wife, Su Qingyan, screamed. That's all marital property, sis. It should all be ours. Su Qingyan was so excited he was babbling. Su's parents and his ex-wife were instantly overwhelmed by immense greed. The whole family ran out without even putting on shoes properly. They were going to see the villa that belonged to them. Watching them rush toward my place, I gave a cold smile. Good, the fish are finally taking the bait on their own. $100 million villa. All of this belongs to our family. My ex-wife Su Qingyan, along with her parents and brother, stormed over towards villa number 3, which I had just bought, but they didn't even make it past the gate. They were stopped by security. Unauthorized personnel. Get out, Su Qingyan screamed. I'm Chen Feng's wife. This is our home. How dare you stop me? But the security guard remained unmoved. Mr. Su specifically instructed us. He's already divorced. He has no wife. Hearing this, Su Qingyan's parents immediately started roaring. What? The money he earns is all ours. We raised him for so many years. This house should be his way of repaying us. Looking at their ugly faces, the security guard felt even more contempt. He immediately called for backup and drove Su Qingyan's family out. Watching $100 million mansion slip right through their fingers was unbearable. Su Qingyan quickly pulled out her phone to call me. Too bad. I had already blocked all these vampires a long time ago. Su Qingyan roared in anger. That useless bastard has some nerve. He won't even answer my call. I'm gonna hire the best lawyer and sue him. I'll leave him penniless. Her brother, Su Qingyan, chimed in. Sis, a lawsuit would take too long. You should sweet-talk him into coming back first. Get him to remarry you. Her parents agreed from the side. Yeah. First, get that loser back, then we can deal with him slowly. I had no time to bother with these clowns. Right now, I was sitting in the city's largest security company. I had only one goal. To turn this above-ground villa into an impenetrable Doomsday safe house. I found the person in charge, Gao Mingyuan, and slapped the floor plan on the table. Usually, safe houses are built underground, but I'm out of time. We have to retrofit it on site. I laid out some insane requirements. All exterior walls must be reinforced with titanium alloy plates. They need to withstand explosives. All windows must be replaced with bulletproof glass. Most importantly, the interior must have top-tier insulation and a heating system. Even if it's minus 80 degrees outside, it needs to be warm as spring inside, plus an air filtration system to block poison gas and rioters. After hearing my demands, Gao Mingyuan gulped. He looked at me like I was crazy. Mr. Chen, what did you do? Commit a cardinal sin? You want to build such an outrageous fortress? 10 days. I want you to do it within 10 days. Turn this villa into a fortress that even a noob can't crack open. The boss looked at me like I was crazy. Mr. Chen, that'll take at least 2 months. I let out a cold laugh. Then I slammed the table. On top of the 200 million for the renovation, I'll add another 100 million. 10 days. Can you do it? Looking at the security company boss, Gao Mingyuan, and seeing his eyes light up instantly, I knew the money had done the trick. To get it done before the apocalypse hits, I offered a sky-high price, 200 million for the renovation, plus another 100 million for overtime, 300 million total. The whole company went wild. The boss was so excited. He grabbed my hand. He swore he'd throw the entire company's manpower at it. All hands on deck, even risk their lives to get it done for me. But what he didn't know was, he was never going to see that money. The contract was crystal clear. 100 million deposit. 100 million upon inspection. As for the remaining 100 million, I'd pay it after living there for a month. If everything was fine. Gao Mingyuan grinned from ear to ear, thinking he'd met a cash cow. He agreed without a second thought. Little did he know, in a month, the apocalypse would hit. The world would freeze over. Cash would be worthless then. That last 100 million, you'd need to be alive to spend it. This move is a legit freebie. Just back in the neighborhood, I saw the workers had already brought their equipment in. The power of money really works fast. To keep a low profile, I spent more money to rent a warehouse in the complex, specifically to store the 100 tables of top-tier banquets and massive supplies I ordered. Looking at my shrinking account balance, 80 million. Only 80 million left, but I wasn't worried at all. In fact, I felt I wasn't spending it fast enough. Now I have my turtle shell and food, but I'm still missing the sharpest fangs. As the saying goes, neighbors stockpile food, I stockpile guns. My neighbor's stockpile is my granary. Only with weapons can you hold the truth. Getting firearms here at home is impossible. I made a quick decision. I immediately booked a ticket, flying to the US. Not only are guns rampant there are also countless unattended superstore warehouses. Since I've been reborn, I'm gonna experience the legendary $0 shopping. I'll clean out their arsenals and granaries completely. Just as I was looking at a map, planning where to go shopping in the US, my phone suddenly vibrated. It was an unknown number. I answered it, and from the receiver came my ex-wife Su Qingyan's sickeningly sweet voice. She complained with righteous indignation. Honey, it's me. If you keep ignoring me, I'm really gonna get mad. Listen to that tone, as if I'm still that guy. Who's her on-call simp? Since you wanna play, I'll play along with you. Honey, I know I was wrong. I just had a little thing with someone. Is that really worth getting so mad about? Listen to this. Is that even human? She's still mad I bought a villa without consulting her, and the next second, she thinks a simple moment of weakness can swindle me out of my brand new $100 million mansion. Rewind a few minutes. I just picked up the phone, and the receiver was filled with Su Qingyan's utterly pitiful voice. Honey, why did you block me? Not only did she show not a shred of guilt for cheating, she had the nerve to confront me. I heard you booked 100 banquet tables and bought a huge villa, something this big. How could you not discuss it with me? Listen to that tone, as if we weren't even divorced, as if my money was still her money. After I chewed her out, she immediately deployed her master manipulator skills. Her voice instantly turned pitiful. She whined with a sob. Honey, are you still mad at me? Let me apologize, okay? I just had a moment of weakness. I made a mistake any woman could make. Honey, I really can't live without you. Let's get back together, please? Honestly, if she hadn't stabbed me 3 times in my past life, listening to this tearful, heartfelt confession, I might have actually believed her that she couldn't live without me. But deep down, I knew better than anyone. It wasn't me she couldn't live without. It was the money in my pocket and the $100 million villa behind me. I sneered back. Can't live without me? Ha! Or is it my money you can't live without? That one sentence instantly tore off her mask. Su Qingyan's face fell instantly. Her parents, who'd been eavesdropping, and her useless brother, couldn't keep up the act either. They snatched the phone away and started cursing me out. Chinfeng, don't be so ungrateful. We're willing to humor you. That's us giving you a chance. Get your ass back here now. Hand over the villa. We might let you keep a doghouse to live in. Otherwise, you'll leave with nothing. You won't get a single cent. You good for nothing. Don't forget, your money belongs to the Su family. See? They're already losing it. Where's all that affection from a minute ago? Where's that can't live without you now? These bloodsuckers, if sweet talk doesn't work, they resort to threats. But I'm not that pushover anymore. Not that easy target. I immediately hung up on them and blocked their numbers. Want to live in the villa? Maybe in your next life. Just as I dealt with that trash, I was about to get some rest. My phone buzzed again. This time, the message was from my brother-in-law, Su Qingyan. Or rather, from his fiancée, Zhao Qian. This woman, ever since she found out I'm a billionaire, her mind's been working overtime. First, she pretended to update me on the villa's loan progress. Seeing I didn't shut her down, she immediately pushed her luck. Ding! An extremely provocative photo came through. In the photo, she was wearing a sheer, see-through nightgown. Along with it came a classic green tea line. I'll wear this for you every day from now on. Looking at this photo, I smiled. Su Qingyan, oh Su Qingyan, your whole family is scheming for my villa, but your wife is on the other end of the phone. Since you all want to play games, I'll give you a big gift. I didn't reply to Zhao Qian's advances. Instead, I hit forward. Recipient, Su Qingyan. Tonight's gonna be interesting. Who would have thought? Last night, I was nice enough to forward my brother-in-law's fiancé's private photos to him, and today, he shows up with a bunch of thugs to thank me. Looking at Su Qingyan and that thick steel pipe in his hand, I just smiled. Are you here to break my legs? Or to get a diagnosis for that lush green pasture on your head? Let's rewind half an hour. My Doomsday fortress over here has been running non-stop, 24/7. The noise was too much, and it finally pissed off the neighbor in Villa number 4, next door. Turns out, my neighbor is actually that big celebrity I met once before, Lin Chen. Lin Chen brought her internet-famous bestie, Xiao Lulu, storming over to my place. Apparently, my renovations kept them awake all night, and my crazy food delivery spree last night left them without a single bite to eat. Looking at Lin Chen, who was stunning even without makeup, a perfect 10, I thought to myself, if the apocalypse hits, and I take her into the fortress, it'd be worth shaving 3 years off my life. But, the real show was just beginning. They came to give me a piece of their mind, but her friend Xiao Lulu took one look at my young, handsome face, and the fact I own this billion-dollar mansion, and her attitude did a complete 180. 1 second she's calling me out. The next, she's cooing and clinging to me, even bending over on purpose to show off her deep cleavage, begging to add me on WeChat. What a pro at playing games. Seeing the disbelief in Lin Fei's eyes, I added Xiao Lulu without hesitation. Don't get me wrong, I'm not into her. Someone who'd cheat for money, at the drop of a hat, will be easy to control when the apocalypse comes. A single loaf of bread will have her eating out of my hand. Adding her contact is just keeping a door open for future supplies. After sending those 2 on their way, the security company's head, Gao Mingyuan, assured me they'd work 3 shifts around the clock and finish in 10 days, guaranteed. As long as the quality is good, money is no object. With the fortress on track, I headed out to secure transportation. When the snow hits in the apocalypse, piling up meters deep, luxury cars are just scrap metal. Snowmobiles are the only way to go. I just stepped out of the neighborhood when a bunch of thugs with clubs charged out from the shadows and surrounded me. Leading them was my former brother-in-law, Su Qingyan. His eyes were bloodshot, face twisted with hatred, like a rabid dog. Chinfeng, you bastard. Looks like that photo of his fiancée in her pajamas last night really got to him. I sneered and taunted him. Well, if it isn't Ji Qiang. Did you like last night's pictures? If it weren't for me, you'd never have known. Your wife had that side to her, right? That set him off completely. Get him! Break his legs first. He roared, picking up the steel pipe, and swung it straight at my head, watching the pipe whistle toward me. I didn't dodge. A bunch of street thugs. Think they can touch me? Me, who crawled out of mountains of corpses in the apocalypse? Su Qingyan. Since you came looking for trouble, let me show you what real cruelty looks like. Watching him brandishing that steel pipe, Su Qingyan charging at me, I didn't even bat an eye. After 2 years surviving the apocalypse, I awakened a spatial ability. My perception has long surpassed normal people. Su Qingyan's so-called vicious attack, in my eyes, was like slow-motion replay. I sidestepped and kicked out with my leg. With a loud thud, Su Qingyan screamed as he flew backward. The punks following him hadn't even reacted yet before I took them all down in a few moves. Su Qingyan lay on the ground, his face full of terror. You useless trash, how did you get so strong? I used to go easy on you guys, because I considered you family. Now, in my eyes, you're not even worth a dog. Right at that moment, 2 people approached from a distance. One was that adulterer, Wang Hao. The other one was actually that lone shark, Tiger. Wang Hao wore a smug look. Chen Feng attacked Tiger's men. You're done for today. Tiger, teach this punk a lesson. Tiger saw it was me, and paused for a second. After all, I just used my house as collateral for $5 million with him. We're practically old acquaintances, but he's a businessman. Money talks, not people. I smiled. I took out my phone, right in front of everyone, and transferred $200,000 to Tiger. This 200 grand is for your boy's medical expenses. Also, whatever they're paying you, I'll double it. Tiger, can you help me take care of this nuisance? Wang Hao was about to curse at me, but Tiger slapped him across the face, knocking him to the ground. Shut up. He's my brother. You dare try to drive a wedge between us. Tiger took the money and immediately turned on me. He went after Wang Hao and Su Qingyan and gave them a brutal beating. They were begging and crying for mercy. Spare us, Tiger. Chen Feng, we were wrong. I watched this coldly. I waved my hand at Tiger. Since they're begging for mercy, just teach them a light lesson. Just break one of their hands. Before Wang Hao could even react, screams pierced the sky. This is the power of money. After dealing with those 2 losers, I didn't stop, because the real prey had just taken the bait. Tiger received the 1 million. I transferred to him later. As a tip, his eyes went wide. He asked me tentatively, Mr. Chen, you're really generous. I heard you bought a $100 million villa. I knew the fish had bitten. I deliberately put on a mysterious look. I leaned in and said, to be honest with you, Tiger, I've been trading cryptocurrency lately. That $5 million I borrowed from you last time, with leverage, it multiplied 20 times overnight. That's how I bought the villa. The market is so good right now. I regret spending all my money on the house. I want to mortgage this $100 million villa to you and borrow 80 million more to make one last big score. Hearing about making 100 million overnight, greed instantly consumed his reason. He looked at the 300 million renovation contract I just signed and was tempted. After all, if I can't repay the loan, he takes this luxury mansion and can flip it for tens of millions in profit. Watching him hurry away to gather the money, I let out a cold laugh. Oh, Tiger, you've harmed countless people. Today, I'll deliver justice. Once you transfer the 80 million to me, I'll use it to buy up supplies. As for repayment, the apocalypse is in half a month. I'll have plenty of spirit money for you then. I'll burn as much as you want. With the funds secured, I turned and walked into the city's largest vehicle modification shop. Looking at the rows of beast-like machines by the entrance, I pointed to the most prominent spot. Boss, those snowmobiles. Give me 10 of them, the best ones. To secure transportation for the apocalypse, I went to Thunder Customization Shop. The receptionist was a fox-like beauty named Li Bingyao. When she heard I wanted 10 snowmobiles, her eyes lit up instantly. But that wasn't enough. I spotted the one at the entrance right away, a heavily modified Mercedes-Benz G-Class. This was no ordinary vehicle. It was an apocalypse fortress that could handle -40-degree extreme cold like it was nothing. Even though it cost $6 million, I didn't even bat an eye. To help this beautiful saleswoman get a bigger commission, I even chose to finance it. Seeing Li Bingyao so excited, looking like she wanted to jump on me, I smiled. Before the apocalypse, if you had money, a beauty like her, a 9 out of 10, would be all over you. But I had no time for romance. After finishing the paperwork, I drove this steel beast to a Michelin-starred restaurant to buy out all their prepared food. Meanwhile, those Su family vampires were at home, raging helplessly. My brother-in-law, Su Qingyan, and her lover, Wang Hao, both had their hands broken. They were howling in pain, bandaged up. They wanted to call the police, but were afraid of Boss Su's retaliation. Finally, my insatiable father-in-law, Su Dahua, made a decision. Since we can't deal with him directly, let's make a scene. Let's go block him at his villa. So, the whole family, injured, stormed over to the entrance of my villa. I had just driven home when they stopped me. Seeing my multi-million-dollar luxury car, Wang Hao and Su Dahua's eyes turned red with envy. In their eyes, I had squandered money that belonged to them. They rushed up and grabbed my legs, not letting me leave. I was about to lose my temper when my despicable mother-in-law, Matsuelan, just lay down on the ground and started wailing. Is there no justice in this world? This beast abandoned my daughter and had my son's hand broken. Neighbors, come and judge this. That one shout instantly attracted countless, clueless onlookers. They all pointed at me, their eyes full of contempt, as if I really was some heartless, unforgivable scoundrel. Looking at the shrew throwing a tantrum on the ground and at all those neighbors standing on their moral high ground to accuse me, I didn't want to resort to violence. I especially didn't want legal trouble before the apocalypse. But this family just won't take a hint. Since you insist on making a scene in public, don't blame me for what happens next. This bastard abandoned his wife and child. He's simply inhuman. Facing the accusations from all the neighbors in the complex and the smug faces of my ex-wife and her family, I didn't defend myself once. I just walked up with a cold sneer. 3 heavy slaps. I directly knocked this despicable family of 3 flat on the ground. My ex-wife, Su Qingyan, brought her shameless family to put on a show at the gate of my villa. A real sob story. Her parents sat on the ground, throwing a tantrum, crying that I seized the family assets and injured her brother, pretending to be the vulnerable ones I bullied. Su Qingyan's acting skills were in full force, wiping away tears, looking pitifully at me. She grabbed my hand. Honey, let's get back together. I won't hold it against you for hitting my brother. I just want you back. This masterful performance instantly fooled everyone. The surrounding neighbors pointed fingers at me, called me a beast, a heartless scoundrel. Even the big star living next door, Lin Chen, was looking down at me from upstairs with disdain, thinking I was scum. Seeing the fleeting triumph in Su Qingyan's eyes, I knew she thought she had won. She thought using public pressure could force me to submit, make me obediently hand over the villa and assets. Su Qingyan, you're too naive. Looking at this utterly hypocritical face, the rage inside me completely erupted. Had enough of your act? I asked coldly, before Su Qingyan could react. I raised my hand and slapped her. This slap, I held nothing back. It stunned Su Qingyan completely. The neighbors were shocked too. They never expected I'd dare hit her in public. Her dad, Su Dahua, tried to curse at me. I slapped him too. Her mom, Matsuelan, tried to scratch me. I backhanded her another slap, satisfying. These 3 slaps shattered all their pretenses and vented the pent-up anger from my 2 lives. Looking at the dazed family of 3, I turned to face all the neighbors and said loudly, since everyone's here, I'll let you see this family's true colors. I earned 50 or 60,000 a month, but I never had more than $200 in my pocket. Supporting this family of bloodsuckers was bad enough. Her brother's wedding dowry? I had to pay for that too. Fine, even that. But the most disgusting thing is, this woman, Su Qingyan, used my money to support her lover, and made me buy a sports car for her adulterer. As soon as I said this, the crowd erupted. Everyone stared at Su Qingyan in shock. Su Dahua was still struggling desperately, yelling that I was slandering them. I sneered coldly, and pulled out my final trump card. Slander? Perfect. I happen to have a video of Su Qingyan in bed with a man. Today, I'll post it in the residence group chat. Let everyone see who's really doing the slandering. After saying that, I directly pulled out my phone, pretending to hit send. In front of all the neighbors in the community, I pretended to pull out a video of my ex-wife and her lover. In an instant, the arrogant Su Qingyan turned deathly pale with fear. She dropped to her knees, begging for mercy. Honey, don't do this. I was wrong. It's too late. From this moment on, all the dignity of your Su family will be crushed beneath my feet. Seeing the terror on Su Qingyan's face, the surrounding neighbors finally saw through the true nature of these bloodsuckers. Everyone turned their criticism and pointed their fingers at the Su family. So it turns out, this whole family are parasites, exploiting Qingfeng. Su Qingyan cheated on her husband and still wants his money. How shameless. Under the barrage of insults, Su Qingyan's family fled the scene, like rats scurrying across the street. Before leaving, Su Qingyan didn't forget to threaten me venomously. Qingfeng, you just wait. I'll make sure you leave with nothing. Heh, I'll be waiting. By the time you find a lawyer, I'll already be in my fortress, with endless supplies, living the good life. Back home, I got a message from Tiger. That greedy loan shark not only agreed to my request to mortgage the villa for 70 million, he even asked about that completely non-existent cryptocurrency business. Reading his message, I almost laughed out loud. He's practically a money delivery boy. I immediately started sweet-talking him. Tiger, one investment can set up 3 generations. If you invest with me, I'll double your money in 2 weeks. Blinded by greed, Tiger didn't hesitate. He transferred 150 million to me. 70 million was the mortgage loan, and 80 million was his entire life savings. Looking at the account, at that long string of zeros, I tearfully accepted it. Oh, Tiger, the best decision you ever made was becoming my biggest ATM before the apocalypse. 2 weeks later, the apocalypse arrives. You can keep that money and spend it in hell. The money's in hand, and supplies are pouring into the warehouse. Just as I was heading home to rest, someone followed me into the elevator. Su Qingyan's fiancée, Zhao Qian, using the loan as an excuse. She followed me back to my place. I looked at her coldly. If you want to be with me, don't mess around with other men. Zhao Qian immediately understood. She smiled seductively. Of course I want to be with you. Let me prove it to you. Seeing Zhao Qian making a move on me, I picked her up in my arms, ready to turn the tables. "That sucker," Su Qingyan called. I grinned and told her to answer it. This was the perfect moment to cuckold Su Qingyan, but he brought terrible news. He said the lawyer confirmed that because I signed a clean break agreement, my villa and money legally belonged to the Su family. Hearing this, Zhao Qian, who was just all over me and couldn't wait to merge with my body, instantly changed her expression. She hung up the phone, stared at me and asked, "You really signed a clean break agreement?" I just nodded, before I could explain that the apocalypse is coming. "Who cares about the law?" A sharp slap rang out. This woman actually slapped me back. "Are you insane? You're broke and still hitting on people, wasting my time." She cursed while putting her clothes back on, and stormed out, slamming the door, leaving me holding my face, utterly bewildered. "Fine. Great. Since you started this, don't blame me for finishing it." Looking at the stocking she left by the bed and her intimate apparel, a devilish smile spread across my face. I grabbed that bag of evidence and marched to the Su residence, full of killing intent. Right now, these bloodsuckers were popping champagne to celebrate. They thought with that agreement, my vast fortune was already in their pocket. Su Qingyan was especially full of himself. He pulled Zhao Qian, who had just run back, with her clothes in disarray, and boasted grandly, "Qian, from now on you'll be a rich lady. I'll raise the bride price to 2 million. Zhao Qian, this Oscar-worthy actress, didn't even blush or skip a beat. She hugged Su Qingyan's arm and cooed, "I've always believed in you." Watching these two openly flirt in front of Su's parents, I almost couldn't hold back my laughter. "Su Qingyan, oh Su Qingyan, the girlfriend you're holding, just half an hour ago." A knock sounded at the door. Seeing it was me, this family's expressions instantly turned mocking. Su Qing sneered arrogantly. "Chenfeng, it's too late to beg for mercy now." Su Qingyan was even more arrogant. "Trash, kneel and kowtow 3 times, and I might give you 2,000 for travel." Looking at them, still dreaming, I didn't waste words. I walked straight up to Zhao Qian, right in front of Su Qingyan, Su Qing, and her parents. I shoved the bundle of black clothing right into Zhao Qian's arms. "Don't get me wrong, I'm not here to beg. Zhao Qian, you left my place in such a hurry earlier. You forgot your clothes. I brought them over for you." Right in front of the whole family, I took out Zhao Qian's intimate clothing that she'd left at my place, and Su Qingyan was utterly humiliated. He slapped Zhao Qian across the face, calling her a slut. My ex-wife, Su Qing, acted all high and mighty too, pointing fingers at Zhao Qian, saying she was shameless for stealing a man. What a joke. A woman who cheats habitually dares to lecture someone else. To keep her position as the rich wife, Zhao Qian stubbornly insisted that I was framing her. She even made up a lie, saying her roommate stole it. While they were busy fighting, that crooked lawyer brought some shocking news. My bank account actually had $180 million in cash. Hearing that number, the Su family's infighting instantly stopped, replaced by boundless greed. Zhao Qian clung desperately to Su Qingyan's leg. Su Qing was so regretful, beating her chest in anguish, regretting divorcing me. They thought that by filing for asset preservation, they could swallow up all my money. Little did they know, while they were dreaming of getting rich, early the next morning, I was already on a flight to the land of the free. 2 hours later, I landed in Florida. Transportation tech in 2080 was highly advanced. You could reach anywhere on Earth in 2 hours. Coming here, my goal was clear. Get weapons, stockpile supplies. Led by my old friend Yitian, I headed straight to a mysterious estate in the suburbs. The boss here was no ordinary arms dealer. He was a warlord with an entire warehouse full of equipment. Looking at the room full of heavy firepower, my eyes lit up with greed. This wasn't just weapons. This was my foundation for surviving the apocalypse. I directly threw a suitcase filled with $1 million onto the table, ready for a straightforward deal. "Boss, this $1 million is just a deposit. I want everything in your warehouse." Before I could finish, the boss, with his mean, scowling face, suddenly cut me off. He looked at the case of money, a flash of greedy malice in his eyes. He actually raised a pitch-black gun and pressed it hard against my forehead. "Yellow monkey, this is my turf. Leave the money, get lost. Otherwise, I'll blow your head off." The air froze instantly. Having a gun to my head, if it were me from my past life, I'd probably have pissed myself by now. But the me now, looking at this clueless arms dealer, a cruel smile curved at the corner of my mouth. Trying to double-cross me? Trying to take my money? Boss, your biggest mistake was getting too close to me. The next second, I'll show you what a real $0 shopping spree looks like. "You want my life? In your dreams." That ugly American arms dealer had a gun pressed against my forehead, grinning as he tried to double-cross me. He thought I was just a fat sheep ready for slaughter. Little did he know, within 3 meters, I can do whatever I want with my spatial ability. With just a thought, right beneath his feet, I opened a spatial rift. Whoosh! The guy vanished into thin air and fell into my spatial rift. He's a goner. Then came the fun part, shopping spree. With a wave of my hand, I cleared out the entire warehouse of guns and ammo and stored it all in my space. But that wasn't nearly enough. To get my hands on even heavier firepower, I said goodbye to my friend who didn't want any trouble, Yi Tian, and headed alone to a heavily guarded top-tier armory. Couldn't get in through the door? No problem. I used my spatial ability from a patch of grass 500 meters away and started digging like crazy, dirt or rock. As long as I could store it in my space, the path ahead was clear. I was like a hacked humanoid groundhog. Silently, I dug right under the warehouse. When I popped out, I was stunned. RPG rocket launchers, Gatling guns that treat everyone equally. This wasn't just an armory. It was practically the firepower of an entire army. Without hesitation, wherever I went, nothing was left behind. With these bad boys, even if I run into other superhumans after the apocalypse, I can still walk all over them. Weapons? Check. Next up, filling my belly. Night fell. I arrived at Walmart's super warehouse. Same trick as before. I emerged from underground again. This place was practically a paradise for surviving the apocalypse. Food, clothes, supplies, seafood, meat, fruits, veggies, like a swarm of locusts. I cleared out row after row of shelves. Along the way, some unlucky security guard spotted me. I pointed my gun at him and told him the supplies belong to the company. Your life is your own. The guy got the message, but I knocked him out anyway. Safety first, after all. After emptying out Walmart, I rushed overnight to the Amazon warehouse. That night, I went absolutely wild, passing by a military base. I even helped myself to 5 tanks and a bunch of tracked vehicles. But when I saw the pile of brand new snowmobiles in the corner of the warehouse, my heart ached so bad I could barely breathe. If I'd known I could get all this for free here, why did I spend over $1 million back home on this thing? What a huge loss. While taking stock of my loot, I found a huge pile of clothes. Looking at all this, I couldn't help but imagine, after the apocalypse hits, with just one pack of instant noodles, these clothes would be worn by all sorts of goddesses. But, in my mind, flashed an image of my ex-wife Su Qingyan betraying me and stabbing me in the heart. But absolutely cannot give them another chance to hurt me. This time around, I'm all about the S. No feelings attached. Got the guns, got the food, got the vehicles. Now, my apocalypse survival puzzle is missing one last piece. Water. Looking at the map, at that massive reservoir, I licked my lips. To my friends in the ugly country, my apologies. Today, I'm gonna drain your reservoir completely dry. The next day, the whole country was in an uproar. The Walmart warehouse, the Amazon warehouse, were all emptied overnight, down to the last rat dropping. Even a massive reservoir dried up completely. The top brass went crazy. Experts were baffled. Netizens were calling it God's punishment. Only I knew it was just my spatial ability at work. While they were running around, investigating paranormal events, I was already on a plane back home. I slipped away quietly. As for my old friend Yi Tian, whether he survives or not, is up to his own luck. This trip, this shopping spree, I didn't just stockpile enough supplies for 10 lifetimes. I also gave a big middle finger to all those foreign devils who used to bully us. So satisfying. I got home and slept for a full day. The first thing I did when I woke up was to keep spending money. I started ordering like crazy. I practically bought out all the takeout in the city. Over 20 million in cash. Flowed out like water. I didn't feel a shred of regret. It'll all be worthless paper in a few days anyway. But this really screwed over the big star next door, Lin Chen. She was on her phone, almost crying from frustration. She called every restaurant in town, only to hear, Mr. Chen bought us out. Watching her stomp around hungry at home, cursing me. This is a feud over food. I felt nothing. I even wanted to place a few more orders. After stocking up on food, I downloaded a massive amount of study materials and games. After all, the apocalypse is long. Gotta have some mental sustenance, right? Right then, the beautiful saleswoman from the mod shop, Li Bing Yao, delivered the 10 snowmobiles I ordered. Today, she was clearly dressed up. A fitted short dress with black stockings and heels. That figure was 10,000 times better than that trash Su Qingyan. I openly admired the view. I had her direct the workers to unload, but my good mood didn't last long. Those two flies showed up again. Su Qingyan, arm in arm with her adulterer Wang Hao, strutted over. Wang Hao looked at my modified Mercedes G-Class, drooling. He even reached out to touch it, as if it was already his. Honey, once the court awards us this car, I'll take you for a ride. Su Qingyan was even more arrogant. Chenfeng, if you're smart, hand over the car and the villa. I might even give you $1 million. If you wait for my lawyer, you won't even have your underwear left. Looking at these two clueless idiots, I laughed. Steal my money? Maybe in your next life. Su Qingyan was about to curse at me when her phone rang. It was lawyer Huang, handling her case. She answered smugly, even putting it on speaker, so I could hear the sound of my impending doom. Lawyer Huang, how did it go? Did you freeze all of Chenfeng's assets already? At that moment, the air seemed to freeze. The lawyer's awkward and helpless voice came through. Miss Su, I'm so sorry. I just checked Chenfeng's assets. You won't get a single cent. Attorney Huang, don't joke around. Chenfeng signed a clean break agreement. His money is all from our Su family. The ex-wife and her lover were barking like rabid dogs at the lawyer, but the lawyer coldly replied, I'm sorry, Miss Su. I've already investigated. Chenfeng's money was earned after the divorce. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. Hearing the lawyer's verdict, Su Qingyan and Wang Hao completely lost it. They couldn't accept it. That fortune of hundreds of millions, once within their grasp, was truly gone. Wang Hao was still there, raging impotently, accusing the lawyer of being bribed by me. He even suspected I'd hidden assets in advance, but the lawyer's words were like a sledgehammer, shattering all their delusions. The day after the divorce, Chen Feng spent 200,000 on an antique and sold it for 200 million. There's proof of all this. Hearing this, Su Qing's expression shifted from shock to fury, and finally to endless regret. She stared at me, demanding, asking me if I'd known all along that antique was valuable. I just smiled. I admitted it freely. Yeah, I originally wanted to give you this treasure as a gift, a surprise, to make you a wealthy lady. But who told you to be so cheap, insisting on rolling in the sheets with this loser at home? That's adding insult to injury. After hearing that, Su Qing completely collapsed. She realized she was this close to living the luxurious life she'd always dreamed of, but because of one affair, she threw it all away with her own hands. Wang Hao still wanted to take a swing at me, but I slapped him right back. Want my money? Keep dreaming. While this despicable pair were blaming each other at each other's throats, the salesperson who'd stayed, Li Bingyao, walked over. She'd heard everything, loud and clear. The look in her eyes grew even more intense. Mr. Chen, the goods are unloaded. I have some documents at my place. Care to come up? I understood instantly. A top-tier beauty delivered to my door. Why would I say no? I took Li Bingyao home with me. That night, this woman who looked like a vixen displayed astonishing charm. As sweet as this was, the danger wasn't over. That crazy woman Su Qing would never let this go. And that tiger lord I scanned out of 150 million would probably catch on soon. More importantly, the apocalypse is coming, and we only have a few days left. I have to hurry and finish my final preparations. What did you say? We won't get a single cent. Hearing the lawyer's final verdict, the Su family went completely ballistic. They originally thought they could use the child or marital assets to take my money, but the lawyer told them all my money was earned after the divorce. It has nothing to do with them. That insatiable father-in-law was so angry he slammed the table. He pointed at Su Qing's nose and yelled, "You cheating is one thing, but why did you have to do it now? That's hundreds of millions." The brother-in-law, Su Qingyan, was even more frantic, because without money, his gold-digging girlfriend Zhao Qian was about to dump him. In their despair, the lawyer gave them one last terrible idea: remarry. Hearing those two words, this bunch of weirdos suddenly thought they had a chance again. They actually had the shameless audacity to discuss that if Chen Feng agreed to remarry, they'd forgive his previous rudeness, and every month after that, they'd give him a little more allowance. That pathetic loser would definitely be grateful. Listen, is that even something a carbon-based life form would say? They want my money, and they act like they're doing me a favor. While they were lost in their wild fantasies, I was busy, the beautiful saleswoman, Li Bingyao. Right now, compared to that Su Qing, the one in my arms is a naturally seductive little cutie. But just at the crucial moment, Su Qing's call came through. As soon as I answered, hearing the commotion on my end, Su Qing instantly exploded. "Chen Feng, you went to get the documents as CS? You shameless bastard." She was furious. She was jealous, because she could tell the woman I'm with now is younger than her, prettier than her. I couldn't be bothered with her. I'm single and rich. I can be with whoever I want. You, a cheating ex-wife, have no right to tell me what to do. After I shut her down, Su Qing actually forced down her anger and started making empty promises. "Chen Feng, I still love you. If you're willing to remarry, what you did today, I can forgive you. All these years of feelings between us, have you forgotten all of it?" I almost laughed out loud. "Forgive me, Su Qing? Are you out of your mind? I'm worth hundreds of millions now. I'm surrounded by young, beautiful women. What makes you think I'd be interested in a woman who cheated and is carrying another man's bastard? Interested? Remarry so I can raise your lover's child. Do I look like a sucker to you?" After saying that, I hung up the phone. On the other end of the line, the Su family was utterly desperate. Soft tactics didn't work, so they decided to get tough. Su Dahua and his wife slapped their thighs. "That bastard, he actually dared to hang up. Let's go. We'll go find him at the villa." This bunch of bloodsuckers were coming for me again, but they didn't know that what awaited them this time was no longer my tolerance, but the final reckoning before the end times. After getting ready, I was about to head out with my sweetheart, Li Bingyao, when that family of vampires showed up again. Su Dahua and his wife were pounding on my security door like crazy, screaming the vilest curses. They accused me of using their money to keep a mistress on the side. Li Bingyao was a bit scared, but I just snorted coldly. The me now would never fear these pathetic clowns. I went into the bathroom, filled a bucket with water, yanked the door open, and, splash, a bucket of ice-cold water drenched the two of them, Su Dahua and his wife, who were in the middle of their tirade. Matsuelan instantly became a drenched rat, shaking with rage. She pointed at Li Bingyao behind me and screamed homewrecker. She even tried to throw a tantrum on the ground to get the neighbors' attention. Too bad. I had already predicted her move. Want to throw a fit? No problem. I turned around and filled another bucket, ready to pour it. Su Qing is pregnant with someone else's bastard. You don't care about that, but you come here to police how I spend my money? You think I'm an idiot? Seeing me shake the bucket in my hand, these two bullies who only pick on the weak finally backed down. They scrambled away in a panic. Su Qing, hiding in the distance, saw all this. A flash of venom crossed her eyes. She actually decided just to get back with me, and continue sucking me dry. After seeing off these pests, I drove Li Bingyao to work. Looking at her innocent yet alluring face, I transferred $1 million to her on a whim. To me, this money is just a number, but to her, it was an incredible surprise. After dropping off this temporary girlfriend, I went back to my crazy shopping spree. Driving my G-Wagon, I cruised through the city streets. I wasn't just buying food, I was also scouting locations, bookstores, gas stations, pharmacies. These were all my targets for looting before the apocalypse, especially pharmacies. In the apocalypse, a box of cold medicine could save a life. I had to hoard all the medicine in the city. I even needed to find a way to snag a doctor. Otherwise, having medicine but no one to use it would be useless. While I was busy planning for the apocalypse, the hotel manager called. He said my order of 100 banquet tables had arrived. I rushed back to the warehouse, only to see a sight that made my blood boil. A nasty-looking old hag and her pig-like brat of a kid were brazenly taking stuff from my banquet tables. The brat was gnawing on a chicken leg. The old hag was carrying 2 braised pork hocks. She even had the nerve to yell at the manager for minding her business. This old hag, Mrs. Zhou, relied on her thug of a son to bully everyone in the neighborhood. After the apocalypse hit last time, her son went further, killing several people in the complex to establish dominance. I suffered plenty under them too. I never thought, after being reborn, this old witch would still dare to mess with me. I walked up and said coldly, "Put that stuff down," but old lady Zhou just sneered. "Oh, it's you, Xiaochen. You just ordered some food. For everyone, right? What's the big deal if I take a couple hocks?" Acting like I'm taking some huge advantage of you. Looking at her punchable face, my killing intent instantly boiled over. I just got back to the warehouse and saw the neighborhood's notorious Granny Zhou with her pig-like grandson rummaging through my supplies. That brat took a bite of a chicken leg and just threw it away. Then he pointed at my Australian lobster and demanded to eat it. Granny Zhou wasn't idle either. She was carrying 2 braised pork knuckles and had the nerve to tell me, "I'm the head of the residence committee. Taking your food is doing you a favor. Let's be friends." Be friends? You wish. In my last life, after the apocalypse hit, this family bullied a lot of people in the complex to establish dominance. I suffered plenty under them too. Without a word, I slapped the brat's dirty hand away. As he reached for the lobster, I shoved him aside and snatched the pork knuckles right out of Granny Zhou's hands. The old hag lost it. She called me stingy, said I deserved my wife running off with someone else. I just sneered. Right in front of her, I took that braised pork knuckle and threw it to a big black dog on the street. See that? I'd rather feed it to a dog than give it to you. Granny Zhou was furious. She went home with pure hatred in her eyes. She immediately pulled out her phone, and in the residence group chat, she started playing the victim she couldn't let you for. She glossed over the important stuff, never mentioned stealing at all. Instead, she used her position as the committee busybody to stir up drama. Said I was disturbing everyone day and night with my renovations, and bullying the elderly because I'm rich. The Su family was itching for a fight. Seeing someone take the lead, they jumped right in to fan the flames. They wanted everyone to boycott me. In no time, the neighbors who didn't know the truth were stirred up. The neighbors were stirred up. The chat was flooded with people calling me out of control. The chat was flooded with people calling me out of control. Must stop the work. We are for my cup meetings demanding the work stop. Granny Zhou smugly at me, demanding I give the whole complex an explanation. Looking at her smug face, thinking she could take me on. I laughed. You want an explanation? Fine, I'll give you one. You can't refuse. I sent a voice message in the group. Neighbors, the renovation is on a tight schedule. It really has disturbed everyone. To apologize, I'll send each of you a $2,000 red envelope. Let's all calm down. Can't let him do whatever. There are 500 people in the group. 2,000 each. That's $1 million right there. Granny Zhou was still being sarcastic, saying I was bluffing, but the next second, a massive red envelope exploded into the chat. Everyone went crazy grabbing it. Granny Zhou, being the cheapskate she is, was no exception. Her hand was faster than anyone's. However, when she clicked on it, she was stunned, unable to claim. That's right, I had it all set up, except for Granny Zhou's family and Su Qing's family. Everyone else could claim it. Watching everyone else post screenshots of their deposits, Granny Zhou completely lost it. She started cursing in the group. Chen Feng, why can't I claim it? I ignored her, because I didn't need to say a word. The neighbors who got the money instantly performed a complete about-face. The same people who were just complaining about the noise were now all speaking up for me. Andy Zhou, maybe your hearing's going in your old age? Mr. Chen's renovation isn't making any noise at all. Exactly. Mr. Chen is such a good man. Stop making trouble all the time. Yeah, stop making trouble all the time. Looking at the wall of accusations on screen, Granny Zhou was so angry, she almost had a stroke on the spot. You wanted to isolate me? Now look, who's the one who's isolated? 1 second. That awful Mrs. Zhou had rallied the entire neighborhood to come and denounce me. The next second, I sent out 1 million in red envelopes, and everyone instantly switched sides. Mrs. Zhou, Mr. Chen, there's been no noise from your renovation at all. But your renovation was noisy for 2 months last time. I haven't even settled that score with you yet. The neighbors who took the money instantly became champions of justice. Not only did they speak up for me, they started digging up Mrs. Zhou's old misdeeds. Things like, rules for thee but not for me, or, disturbing the peace with renovations, for 2 months and then cursing people out. One by one, every single incident was dragged out into the open. Mrs. Zhou was so furious she threw her phone at home. She even took her anger out on her daughter-in-law, calling her useless. And that bunch of vampires from the Su family, watching me throw around 1 million in the group chat, were pounding their chests in agony. In their eyes, that was all their money. That crazy woman Su Qingyan went completely berserk. She'd rather abort the baby and get back together with me just to snatch that money back. All of this was seen by Xiaolulu, who was lurking in the residence group chat. Her little heart was pounding, buying $100 million mansion, driving $1 million luxury cars, and now, with a single move, handing out 1 million in red envelopes. This isn't just a neighbor, this is a walking gold mine. Xiaolulu secretly vowed that she had to win me over, then she wouldn't have to be some D-list actress anymore. As for me, I had no time for all these women. During these 10 days, I was frantically stockpiling supplies, while enjoying Li Bingyao's tender affections. Life was incredibly fulfilling. The 10-day deadline arrived. Gao Mingyuan and his team delivered the project on time for that $100 million bonus. These guys worked like crazy. 3 shifts working around the clock. They finally transformed my villa into a steel fortress. I inspected it personally. The exterior walls were reinforced with titanium alloy steel plates, bomb-proof. Inside, top-grade insulation materials, heating system, air filtration system, independent diesel generator, and even a water purification system. Even if it's minus 80 degrees and a frozen hell outside, inside my house, it's still a spring-like paradise. I was very satisfied. I transferred the 100 million on the spot. I even added 2 backup generators. Gao Mingyuan was over the moon with the money. Little did he know, the remaining $100 million balance was something he'd never see in this lifetime. After seeing off the construction crew, I looked at the impregnable fortress before me. My heart was finally at ease. Right at that moment, a familiar figure walked over. Xiaolulu. She was wearing an extremely skimpy camisole. Her hot figure seemed to glow white in the sunlight. She cozied up to me sweetly. Chinfeng, the villa's all finished, right? Can you take me inside for a tour? Looking at her overflowing cleavage, and that meaningful look in her eyes, the corner of my mouth curled up. Tour the house? I think you want to tour my bed. Since you're delivering yourself to my doorstep, how could I possibly refuse? I was just about to take the high-end tea artist, Xiaolulu, who came knocking on my door, back to the villa, but then my ex-wife, Su Qingyan, suddenly rushed out. Seeing me with Xiaolulu, who's younger and prettier than her, Su Qingyan completely lost it. Pointing at the homewrecker beside me, Xiaolulu, she started cursing. I'm talking to my husband. What gives you, this little tramp, the right to interrupt? Xiaolulu burst out laughing. She fired back sarcastically. Sis, you cheated. Got knocked up with a bastard, and still expect your husband to raise it? Compared to you, I don't dare claim that tramp title. Seeing she couldn't win the argument, Su Qingyan started trying her emotional blackmail on me. She grabbed my hand, pleading with tears streaming down her face. Honey, I just made a mistake that any woman in the world could make. Please forgive me, okay? To get back together with you, I've already gotten rid of. Let's start over, okay? Hearing this, I was stunned. To get a share of my assets, this woman actually had the heart. That must be some truly wicked heart. Too bad that trick doesn't work on me. I sneered and pushed her away. A woman like you makes me sick just looking at you. Look at yourself now. In what way can you compare to Lulu? Xiaolulu chimed in at the perfect moment. Yeah, sis, before you start daydreaming, maybe look in a mirror. Watching me and Xiaolulu walk into the villa, the venom in Su Qingyan's eyes was practically overflowing. She paid such a high price for the money, only to be humiliated by me in return. Su Qingyan, now completely corrupted, dialed her lover Wan Hao's number. She gave the final order. That bastard Chinfeng refuses a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Wan Hao, I want you to find some people and kidnap him. Wan Hao is a bit scared at first. After all, I now have Lord Wu backing me up, and I'm pretty skilled myself. But under Su Qingyan's crazy brainwashing about hundreds of millions in assets, this useless man finally decided to kill. A kidnapping plot targeting me was quietly brewing. Meanwhile, I was taking Xiaolulu on a tour of my apocalypse fortress. Seeing the house filled with luxury furniture, Xiaolulu's eyes went wide when I told her the renovation for this place cost 300 million. Mr. Chen, is the air conditioning off in here? I feel so hot all of a sudden. Since you're feeling so hot, how could I possibly not help you cool down? I wrapped my arm around Xiaolulu's slender waist and headed towards the bedroom. Outside the door, my ex-wife and her family were plotting a kidnapping. Inside the door, a top-tier homewrecker was making her move. The apocalypse's arrival was only a few hours away. This was the last moment. Xiaolulu, that master manipulator, came into my villa and immediately started taking her clothes off. She tried to use her body to buy her way into being the lady of the house. Just as I was about to take control, she covered my mouth and asked to move in. Her excuse was that her best friend was sick of her. Ha, that lame excuse would only fool an idiot. I've lived 2 lives. Why would I let a wolf into my house? This woman is even greedier than Su Qing. The moment her interests are threatened, she'll be the first to betray me. I flat out refused. This safe house doesn't carry freeloaders. If you want to live here, no way. Seeing that didn't work, she started playing the emotional card, said she wanted to be my personal, exclusive girl. I let out a cold laugh and gave her a price, $100,000 a month. Take it or leave it. If not, put your clothes on and get out. Hearing that price, Xiao Lulu's face turned pale. She wanted to be the mistress of a billion-dollar mansion. How could she settle for just being a... Even though she was pissed, she held it in and didn't blow up. She put her clothes back on right in front of me, dropped a line about missing me, and to give her a call. Then she slunk away. Trying to play me? Maybe in your next life, when the apocalypse hits, a single loaf of bread will have you on your knees begging for mercy. After sending that gold digger packing, I was about to call Li Bingyao over to cool me down, when my phone alarm suddenly went off. The surveillance feed showed that awful old lady Zhou, with her bratty grandson, sneaking around outside my villa gate. That old hag has been looking for trouble ever since. I shut her down in the owner's group chat. Today, seeing my construction crew was gone, she actually told her grandson to pee on my wall. To disgust me, I turned on the speaker to warn her. Old lady Zhou, control your kid. Don't let him pee on my gate, or I won't be so polite. But instead of listening, the old hag got even more arrogant. My Xiaolong is just a child. Why are you, an adult, making a big deal? Xiaolong, go pee on his gate. Watching that stream of urine about to hit my gate, I didn't stop it. Instead, a cruel smile spread across my face. The door to my apocalypse fortress is wired with high voltage. The next second, a blood-curdling scream pierced the sky. She pulled out her phone and started calling for backup. Chen Feng, how dare you electrocute my grandson? Just wait till my gangster son gets back. You're dead. That awful old lady Zhou went completely nuts, pounding on my door with her fists. Then, with a loud zap, her legs gave out, and she started foaming at the mouth instantly. All the neighbors were secretly cheering. Karma's a bitch. But this electric fence of mine was specially calibrated. It won't kill anyone, just make them wish they were dead. That's just a little lesson for them. Not long after, old lady Zhou's delinquent son, Luo Zhongyuan, came storming back. Seeing his mom and kid convulsing on the ground, the guy saw red. He picked up a rock and started smashing my titanium alloy door. He swore he'd take me out. His wife, Qingyan, tried to stop him, saying it might be a misunderstanding, but he shoved her away and cursed at her in public. Seeing Qingyan's humiliated look, I couldn't help but shake my head. The woman still got it. With a great figure, she's one of the prettiest in the complex. Too bad, in my past life, that bastard Luo Zhongyuan, to win over his lackeys, actually gave her away, drove her insane in the end, and she froze to death in the snow. I tried to warn Luo Zhongyuan to listen to his wife, but he told me to shut the hell up, and called in his guys for a full-on assault. Watching the crowd of punks gathering downstairs, I just sneered. I pulled out my phone and gave Tiger a call. Tiger treats me like his golden goose now. Hearing someone's messing with me, he rushed over with his men. Luo Zhongyuan bullies everyone in the complex, but face to face with a real boss, he shriveled up like a scared quail, bowing and scraping, trying to cozy up to him. Tiger just slapped him across the face, knocked him senseless. Chen Feng is my brother. You want trouble? Just say the word. Tiger's got my back. No questions asked. Luo Zhongyuan was fuming, but to save his own skin, he had to swallow his pride and take it. Under Tiger's pressure, Luo Zhongyuan had no choice but to back down. He apologized to me in front of everyone, then gathered his whole family and slunk away. But I knew this wasn't over. Back home, old lady Zhou was still wailing about calling the cops, but Luo Zhongyuan, face dark, refused. The cops are useless, and Tiger can't babysit him forever. I have a way to deal with that piece of trash. Seeing the venom in Luo Zhongyuan's eyes, I knew a venomous snake was now lurking in the shadows, ready to strike at any moment. After dealing with the old lady, I headed down to the underground garage. I was ready for one last shopping spree before the apocalypse. Suddenly, Wang Hao showed up with 2 thugs. They rushed out at me. A dagger was pressed right against my neck. This useless cripple with one hand, trying to pull off a kidnapping. He sneered, telling me to behave. Said no one could save me. I laughed. Save me? You 3 pathetic losers. Think I'd ever scream for help? Right as they were about to make their move, I activated my spatial ability. Their hands were frozen by an invisible force. They couldn't move an inch. The next second, my fist was already smashing into their faces. All 3 of them didn't even have time to scream. I beat them to a pulp. Wang Hao, who was so arrogant just moments ago, was now kneeling before me, sobbing, begging me to spare his miserable life. I kicked him away, told him to get lost. Let him go? No way. I took out my phone and called Tiger, transferred 500,000. Just for one request. Arrange a special service Wang Hao will never forget. Wang Hao, bruised and battered, fled back to the Su family. Before he could even catch his breath, the front door was kicked open. Tiger barged in with a group of burly men. They stormed inside. In his hand was the mortgage contract I'd already signed. "This house is sold to me now. Everyone, get out." Now, Su Qing screamed, saying it was her house. But I'd already mortgaged the deed to Tiger. It's all in black and white. No one can change that. These blood-sucking parasites finally got a taste of what it's like to be homeless. Just as the Su family was being thrown out, Wang Hao was dragged back by Tiger's men. The next second, the room echoed with Wang Hao's blood-curdling screams. Outside the door, Su Qing and her family were scared out of their minds. Su Qing was trembling with rage. She swore she'd sue me, make me beg for mercy on my knees. Sue me? Fine, the apocalypse is almost here. I'll be waiting in the frozen world for your lawsuit. After Su Qing's family was kicked out of the villa, they still wouldn't give up. They rented a place in the neighborhood, keeping an eye on me, threatening to sue me, and make me pay dearly. Looking at the video Tiger sent me, of Wang Hao being entertained, I could only sneer inwardly. Sue me? The end of the world is coming. Go file your lawsuit in hell. Right then, my order of top-tier cold weather supplies arrived. Antarctic grade down jackets, silk quilts piled up like mountains. Su Qingyan and Zhao Qian happened to see it. They started mocking me in unison. I looked at Zhao Qian, that haughty look on her face. For the last time, I took pity and teased her. Sticking with the Su family has no future. Why not come with me? $20,000 a month. Zhao Qian called me shameless and stormed off. Fine, that was your last chance to survive. You threw it away yourself. No time to bother with these dead people. I drove to Li Bingyao's place. This pretty salesgirl was homesick with a fever. Considering she was sincere with me, I decided to give her a hand. I not only brought her a ton of food and cold medicine, but also took out a welder and steel. I welded her door shut, making it impregnable. Seeing her move to tears, looking like she was ready to offer herself to me, I sternly warned her to ration the food and trust no one. After settling Li Bingyao, I thought of my celebrity neighbor, Lin Chen. I heard because I took all her takeout, she was forced to stockpile instant noodles and vegetables. Ironically, my unintentional move made her one of the most comfortable people in the early days of the apocalypse. Night fell, the last rays of sunset faded. In the air, a sudden, eerie chill appeared. The elderly folks in the neighborhood were still happily enjoying the cool, celebrating the end of the heat wave. These fools had no idea this wasn't just a cool down. It was the breath of death. Under cover of night, I used my spatial ability to dig a tunnel and infiltrated the city library. The apocalypse is long, can't be without mental nourishment. I cleared out every bookshelf. Next, I headed for the main warehouse of a pharmacy chain. Cold medicine, anti-inflammatories, antibiotics. In the apocalypse, these lifesavers are more precious than gold. I took it all. When I came out of the warehouse, a biting cold wind blew. I checked my phone. The temperature had already dropped to 8 degrees. In just a few hours, it went from scorching heat to deep autumn. The temperature plummeted. The apocalypse had finally arrived. Su Qingyan, are you ready for hell? The old world order has completely collapsed. Mortals, prepare to welcome your king. Rewind a few hours earlier. The cold front had already begun its onslaught, and I was conducting my last-minute looting. Fresh seafood from the market, supplies from the produce warehouse, all stored away in my space. The moment the clock struck midnight, I returned right on time to my steel fortress. Outside the window, the blizzard arrived as scheduled. The apocalypse had officially begun. Meanwhile, the Su family had descended into hell. When they were kicked out of the villa, they were empty-handed. In their rented place, they only had summer mats and thin blankets. Facing the cliff-like temperature drop, Su Dahua and his wife huddled together, freezing. My ex-wife Su Qing tried to avoid impropriety at first, but eventually couldn't stand the cold. She could only squirm like a worm into her ex-husband Wang Hao's bed, squeezing together for warmth. Even that gold digger, Zhao Qian, tried to run, but the sub-zero wind at the door, dozens of degrees below, forced her right back in. She almost pissed herself from the cold. The funny thing is, even freezing their butts off, Su Qing actually picked up her phone to threaten me. "Chenfeng, the authorities will come for you soon. If you know what's good for you, let us into the villa right now." Looking at the words on the screen, I took a sip of steaming hot coffee. I sneered and replied, "The axe is at your neck, and you're still dreaming? Enjoy this long night." After sending the message, I couldn't be bothered with these fools anymore. I took out the megaphone I had prepared earlier and aimed it at the silent neighborhood. I shouted that declaration of sovereignty. Even though that awful Granny Zhou called me a lunatic in the group chat, I didn't care at all. That night, I slept soundly under a silk quilt. I fell into a deep sleep. Inside was a constant, comfortable, 79-degree paradise. But outside, snow was already 3 feet deep, a frozen wasteland at 40 below. When I woke up, I checked my phone. Looking at the homeowner's chat blowing up, the corner of my mouth lifted slightly. The real despair was just beginning. Are you ready? It's minus 40 degrees outside. Step outside, and you'll freeze solid in an instant. But here I am, wearing a tank top, inside my fortress at a constant 79 degrees, brewing hot coffee. The blizzard has sealed the doors. The extreme cold has arrived. That despicable old lady Joe still hasn't given up. She's trying to stir up trouble in the residents' group chat, calling me a nuisance. But the neighbors who took my red envelopes have learned their lesson this time. Not a single one paid her any attention, leaving her to perform a one-man show. Like a pathetic clown, the group chat is in total chaos now. Someone's pee froze into an icicle. Someone's pipes burst at home. The most ridiculous thing is, their fridges are warmer than their living rooms. These overgrown babies are still fantasizing about a government rescue, thinking they can just ride it out on a holiday. But as I look out the window, at those 3 human ice sculptures, who froze solid the moment they left the building, I sneer to myself. How naive. The water supply is already cut. The power will be next, paralyzed by frozen power lines. In the face of this indiscriminate global disaster, no one can save you, except yourselves. The scene shifts to my ex-wife's family, since I kicked them out of the villa in the summer. Their rental place only has thin mats and light blankets. Su Dahua and his wife are shivering like quails, huddled together. My ex-wife, Su Qingyan, has lost her usual arrogance. She can only swallow her pride and crawl into her lover Wanhao's bed for warmth. The worst off is that gold digger Zhao Qian. Her nose is running from the cold. In her heart, she's already cursed the Su family 800 times, swearing to break up. Just as the Su family is at their wits' end, Zhao Qian's eyes suddenly light up. A flash of greedy malice appears. You don't have down jackets, but Chinfeng does. Yesterday, I saw with my own eyes him hauling several truckloads of Antarctic-grade down jackets and silk quilts into his villa. Looking at this family, with their wolf-like, gleaming green eyes, I know they're coming to die again. When they found out yesterday that I just brought back several truckloads of down jackets and silk quilts, those vultures, Su Qingyan and her family, immediately smelled blood in the water. Su Dahua and Su Qingyan started their act, thinking this was just a lucky fluke for me. They even suspected I'd checked the weather forecast ahead of time. That scumbag Wanhao was even more pissed, thinking my luck was just too good. In their eyes, my stuff is theirs, even after we've fallen out. If they ask for it, I'm supposed to hand it over obediently. Su Qingyan hesitated at first, but after her parents brainwashed her, she actually called me. When the call connected, hearing her trembling voice, I almost laughed out loud. You guys aren't frozen stiff yet? You're tough. Su Qingyan held back her anger and demanded the down jackets. I decided to mess with her. My villa is so big, maybe you guys can come stay in a few rooms. The idiot actually believed it. Her voice got all excited. I started cursing her out. In your dreams. Who am I to you? Why should I give you anything? Getting mad for my insults, Matsuelan grabbed the phone and started threatening me. I couldn't be bothered with their nonsense. I hung up, freeze in the cold wind, and think about what you've done. After hanging up, I went back to enjoying the snow. Right then, in a vast white snowscape, I spotted a black dot. A big black dog was actually moving freely through the blizzard at minus 40 degrees. This was no ordinary dog. In my past life, this dog awakened ice powers and became the terror of the neighborhood. Anyone who tried to eat it ended up as an ice statue. Dogs are way more loyal than people. I immediately put on my top-tier cold gear and decided to make it mine. This is a god-tier battle companion for the apocalypse. I went down to the underground garage to go catch the dog, but as soon as I opened the door, I saw a big group of residents huddled together, trying to stay warm. They were still optimistically discussing when the snow would stop, completely unaware the real disaster was just beginning. Right then, Su Qingyan's family charged over like rabid dogs. They were aggressive, faces full of rage, and blocked my way. Chinfeng, give us back the house and the money, or don't blame us for what happens next. Su Qingyan and her whole family came out in full force. They cornered me in the underground garage, surrounding me completely. They were stuffed with curtains, bundled up like mummies. Clearly terrified of the cold, Su Qingyan gritted her teeth, accusing me of being vicious, saying I almost let them freeze to death. Su Dahua and his wife, along with Wanhao, also looked like they wanted to kill me. They shouted, demanding I hand over the down jacket and the house, or else they'd finish me off. Fine. I'm done pretending. Let's just lay it all out. You deserve this. You cheated on me, and now you want to steal my money? The fact that I didn't let you die is mercy enough. Seeing the murderous aura erupting from me, these bullies who only pick on the weak instantly trembled in fear. Seeing force wouldn't work, Su Qingyan started trying to use that cheap line about forgiving me to trick me. I just rolled my eyes at her. Then I fixed my gaze on the one who had been silent, the gold digger, Zhao Qian. I knew exactly what Zhao Qian cared about most. I deliberately said loudly, Qian, why are you still with Su Qingyan? This useless loser? His whole family are con artists. My money is marital property. They can't touch it. And that villa, if it was really theirs, would they have been kicked out? Those two sentences were like two sharp knives, plunging straight into Zhao Qian's heart. Zhao Qian exploded on the spot, pointing at Su Qingyan's nose. She demanded answers. Su Qingyan panicked, frantically trying to explain, but the suspicion in Zhao Qian's eyes had already turned to anger. Watching the Su family descend into chaos felt so damn good. This is what you call defeating the enemy, without lifting a finger. After dealing with that trash, I spotted Lin Feier not far away, and Xiao Lulu. Lin Feier still looked at me with disgust, calling me scum. As for Xiao Lulu, she was staring at my over $200,000 down jacket, her eyes burning with desire. I smiled, inviting them to come warm my bed, but Lin Fei coldly refused. Whatever, in this apocalypse, I have plenty of supplies. There will be plenty of chances to make this ice queen bow her head. I didn't linger. Under everyone's stunned gazes, I walked straight to the garage exit. Everyone was dumbfounded, thinking I'd lost my mind. Outside was a frozen hell at minus 40 degrees. It could freeze a living person solid in an instant. Is this guy crazy? How dare he go out now to get himself killed? Under everyone's astonished gaze, I stepped into the minus 40-degree cold to find that mutant alpha dog. My neighbors all thought I'd lost my mind. That awful Granny Zhou even cursed me viciously, saying I was committing suicide. The funniest part was, that bunch of vampires from the Su family watched me walk away and excitedly popped open champagne. Su Qingyan grabbed that gold digger Zhao Qian and shouted excitedly, "Great, that bastard's gonna freeze to death. The villa will be ours." Su Dahua even puffed out his chest with pride. He led his whole family to the door of my garage, ready to claim my inheritance and move into the warm fortress. But when they got to the door, they realized they had no key. Watching this crowd scurrying around like headless flies, unable to even get inside, was hilarious. The surrounding neighbors couldn't take it anymore. They all mocked them for having no shame, just as Zhao Qian frustratedly kicked Su Qingyan. I strolled back, carrying the dog, completely at ease. Seeing me return unscathed from the blizzard, everyone looked like they'd seen a ghost. Just moments ago, people were freezing to death in this hellish weather, yet I was out there for 5 minutes. Soon, someone recognized what I had. Oh my god, he's wearing a top-tier down jacket, made for Antarctic expeditions. With that jacket, it's like having an extra life. In an instant, the mocking stares turned into pure envy and greed. Countless people stared at my jacket, drooling. The Su family's faces looked worse than if they'd eaten crap. Their inheritance plan was completely ruined. I walked up to them and added with a cold laugh, "I've seen shameless people, but never anyone as shameless as you. Let me tell you, I'd rather let this dog live in my house than let a bunch of trash like you set foot inside. Get lost." The Su family backed down. They cleared the way, but that gang leader, Luo Zhongyuan, wasn't about to let me off. Relying on his ruthless reputation, he thought with the collapse of order, I was now a lamb for the slaughter. He blocked my path and threatened with a menacing scowl. "Listen, kid, you hurt my son. You hit my mom. Now take off that jacket and give it to me. Then kneel down and kowtow a few times. Maybe I'll spare your life." Looking at this fool who didn't know when to quit, I smiled. "You really think without old man who? I can't deal with you." Just as I was about to teach him a lesson and put him in his place, my ex-wife Su Qing, who'd been hiding in the back, suddenly jumped out. In an utterly innocent, yet venomous voice, she shouted, "Chen Feng, you bought 2 truckloads of down jackets. You have more than you can wear at home. Brother Luo only wants one, and you won't give it? Isn't that a complete disrespect for Brother Luo?" Boom! Her words were like a bomb, detonating in the crowd. The neighbors who were just watching the show instantly changed their expressions. "Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned," Su Qing's shout earlier ignited the greed in everyone present. She wasn't being kind-hearted, helping the neighbors get clothes. She clearly wanted to use others to get rid of me, to make me public enemy number 1. That thug leader Luo Zhongyuan heard it, and his eyes lit up. My ex-brother-in-law, Su Qingyan, was fanning the flames on the side. In an instant, I became the enemy of the entire complex. These neighbors, usually such hypocrites, now all bared their fangs. Some tried to morally blackmail me, saying since I had lots of clothes, I should share. Some directly impersonated the authorities, ordering me to hand over supplies, or they'd throw me in jail for life. Listen to that, such high and mighty reasons. I sneered and told them, "These coats cost hundreds of thousands each. Pay up if you want one." Hearing they had to pay, they flew into a rage. They cursed me for being money crazy, cursed me for price gouging. The Su family hid in the back, secretly delighted, thinking I was done for this time. But me, Chen Feng, a man who's lived 2 lives, wasn't afraid of this mob. Luo Zhongyuan saw the crowd was on his side and wanted to make an example of me. He ranted about delivering justice and reached out to grab me. I sidestepped and slapped him hard across the face. Before he could react, I charged forward and started beating him up. In the law of the apocalypse, whoever has the bigger fist is right. Luo Zhongyuan, this bully who usually throws his weight around, was howling in pain from my beating, completely defenseless. That awful Granny Zhou tried to step in and help. I kicked her flying. She rolled on the ground several times. "There's no justice. You robbing me is justice. Me fighting back isn't." I stepped on Luo Zhongyuan's face and looked around at the neighbors who were just shouting. They all instantly fell silent. Just as I was about to finish Luo Zhongyuan, a woman rushed out. It was Luo Zhongyuan's wife, Qingyan. Gotta say, this woman truly lived up to being the complex's top beauty. Even wrapped in a bulky coat, her charm couldn't be hidden. She cried, begging for her husband. Looking at this woman, who met a tragic end in my past life, a mischievous thought crossed my mind. I lowered my fist and said coldly, "Today, for your wife's sake, I'll spare your miserable life. If there's a next time, I'll end you." With that, I picked up the black dog I just tamed and walked into the garage without looking back. But I never expected my careless words would become Qingyan's death warrant. After getting home, Luo Zhongyuan stewed in his anger. He didn't dare come after me for revenge, but he took all his rage out on his own wife. Why would he listen to you? Are you sleeping with him? A heavy slap landed on Qingyan's face. Luo Zhongyuan grabbed her by the neck, his eyes as vicious as a demon's. Chinfeng, you just wait. I brought back that black dog that awakened ice powers back to the villa. This dog is really smart. After a few meals of my braised pork hocks, it was totally won over. I named it Black Emperor. It got so scared its fur stood on end, so I changed it to Old Black. It immediately started wagging its tail. Man and dog, in our warm, spring-like fortress, we're having a blast, compared to all those scheming, deceitful humans outside. This dog is the only companion I can truly trust in this apocalypse. After settling Old Black in, I took out the martial arts manual to study. After all, having powers isn't enough. My fighting skills need to keep up too. Just as I was studying the manual, my phone rang. First, that phony Xiao Lulu tried to get a freebie winter coat from me, and even hinted she wanted to move in. The price for a coat? She was so mad she didn't reply for ages. Wants to be the lady of the house? In her dreams. Right after that, the gold digger Zhao Qian also texted. That woman got scammed hard by the Su family. She's freezing, shivering in the bathroom. The moment she confirmed the Su family was broke, she immediately flipped sides. She sent a long, nauseating message. Chinfeng, I realize the one I truly love is you. I'm coming to your place right now. Open the door for me, okay? Looking at the words on the screen, I almost laughed out loud. 1 second she's calling me a poor loser, the next I'm her true love. I just tossed my phone aside, ignoring it completely. Rather than waste time with that trash, I'd rather spend it playing with my Old Black. However, just when I thought I could have some peace, as I was enjoying the quiet, old lady Zhou's thug of a son, Luo Zhongyuan, was walking out of his house, with a steel pipe and a crowbar, murder in his eyes. He roughly shoved aside his pleading wife, Qingyan. His eyes were fierce, like a starving wolf. Chinfeng, you just wait. If I don't cripple you tonight, I won't go by the name Luo anymore. After I publicly humiliated Luo Zhongyuan, he went home and stewed over it. His awful mother, old lady Zhou, kept stirring the pot, telling him he had to get revenge for her, to save face, and to steal my supplies. Luo Zhongyuan took his tools and snuck into my underground garage in the dark. He thought with his experience on the streets, picking a lock would be a piece of cake. Too bad. He was up against the Doomsday fortress I specially built, a titanium alloy steel plate half a meter thick. Even a bomb couldn't blow it open, let alone that useless crowbar in his hand. He pried for a long time, but it didn't budge an inch. This idiot actually tried brute force with a hammer. With a loud bang, the door was fine. His hand went numb from the shock, just as he was wondering what the door was made of. My defense system activated. A high-voltage current instantly surged through his entire body. He convulsed wildly on the ground for 30 seconds, before collapsing, like a dead dog. I came out slowly with Blackie, my dog, looking at this piece of trash. I gave him a swift kick. Luo Zhongyuan chickened out, panicking and begging for mercy. He said he came to fix my door. Who'd believe such a lie? I waved my hand. Blackie understood perfectly. This dog's a grudge holder too. Luo Zhongyuan used to kick him a lot before. Now, with the chance, he treated Luo Zhongyuan like a fire hydrant, and started pissing all over Luo Zhongyuan. Watching Luo Zhongyuan get pissed on, and not dare to fight back, I couldn't help but laugh. Finally, I kicked him out of the garage, like he was garbage, even though I knew this jerk would definitely cause more trouble. Now wasn't the time to kill him. Keeping him alive to torment slowly was the greatest punishment for him. After Luo Zhongyuan was dragged home by his wife, that awful old lady Zhou started causing drama in the group chat again. First, she cursed at me, saying I'd go to jail. Seeing I ignored her, she started playing the victim, begging for medicine. Turns out her bratty grandson caught a fever from the cold, urgently needing cold medicine. She was begging everyone left and right in the group, but she'd caused so much trouble before. Nobody paid her any attention. Just when she was desperate, I made my move. I posted a photo in the group. In front of me, cold medicine was piled up taller than a person. Children's cold medicine, antiviral granules, fever reducers, you name it. Then I specifically tagged old lady Zhou. Auntie Zhou, do you want this kind of children's cold medicine, or this kind of imported fever reducer? That old hag, Mrs. Zhou, is a real piece of work. She saw my message, and completely lost her mind. Chinfeng, just give me the cold medicine, and I'll consider letting you off the hook. Then I won't report you. I burst out laughing. Are you insane? Your son got beaten up by me, because he's a loser, and you think you can threaten me? Go ahead and call the police right now if you dare. Watching this old woman, so angry her nose was crooked, but completely helpless against me. Man, that felt good. Can anyone lend me 2 boxes of cold medicine? I'll work like a horse to repay you. Who would believe her? She's begging for medicine in the group chat. I was right there to expose her. Medicine is impossible to get now. Anyone who gives you theirs is a fool. With just one sentence, I made the neighbors who were feeling soft-hearted snap back to reality instantly. They all shut their mouths. Mrs. Zhou was stomping her feet in anger. All she could do was have her son, the one who got his face beaten to a pulp, beg people in private messages. Right at that moment, an unexpected friend request popped up. It was actually Luo Zhongyuan's wife, Qingyan. This woman is considered by everyone in the complex to be the ultimate beauty. I never thought that for her child's sake she'd actually come begging. To her enemy, me, she got straight to the point and asked me for medicine. I didn't pretend to be a gentleman either. I directly proposed that condition. That would make her ashamed and furious. Exercise with me in exchange for 2 boxes of medicine. In this apocalypse, medicine is life itself. Why would I just give it to my enemy's wife? Qingyan fell silent, but the seed had been planted. In a moment of utter despair, it would eventually sprout. Just when the Zhou family was in despair, a female doctor named Jing suddenly spoke up in the group chat. She was willing to deliver medicine for free. Mrs. Zhou immediately changed her tune. She praised the doctor for being magnanimous, while also taking a jab at me for having no conscience. I just rolled my eyes, unfazed. A do-gooder like that won't survive 3 episodes in the apocalypse. But if this doctor is a beauty, I wouldn't mind helping her out. After all, in the apocalypse, doctors are a scarce resource. After eating and drinking my fill, I was just about to go to sleep when the lights in my room suddenly flickered. Outside the window, the entire complex was instantly plunged into a dead, silent darkness. The power was out. The real survival challenge of the apocalypse had only just begun. The sudden power outage sent the neighborhood group chat into chaos. Everyone was counting on their AC and space heaters to stay alive. Then, with a loud pop, that hope was gone. These man-children still clung to the fantasy that it was just a line fault, waiting for repairs. But I knew this was the authorities trying to protect core facilities by starting power rationing. Sure enough, not long after, a text message arrived. Only 2 hours of power per day. The news was like a bucket of ice water, dousing everyone's last hope. In this extreme cold of -40 degrees, how do you survive without power? That piece of work, old lady Zhou, popped up again. Too scared to curse out the authorities, she turned her spear on me. Qinfeng has a down jacket. Make him go out and find help. A bunch of others joined in, trying to force me out to die. Moral blackmail doesn't work on me. In my warm villa, playing with Lao Hei, and watching the drama in the group chat, was like watching a bunch of clowns perform. Just as everyone was in despair, someone noticed something. The entire complex was pitch black, but my villa alone was brightly lit. What really made Xiao Lulu, that two-faced girl, jealous was, I was only wearing a t-shirt. What does that mean? It means my house not only has power, it's as warm as summer. The group chat, they demanded to know why I had power. They demanded to know why I had power. Old lady Zhou was especially snide, trying to stir things up. They demanded to know why I had power. I didn't hold back in my reply to the group. I have a diesel generator. Isn't that basic prep? Then I specifically tagged old lady Zhou. Oh no. Oh no. In weather this cold, you don't even have a generator. Are you gonna freeze, you sweet old thing? Zhou Mingtai, old lady Zhou, that old darling, accidentally made 100 million. Got dealt with by me. Not only did he not back off, he actually doubled down. Qinfeng, if you have a generator, you should hand it over. Everyone's freezing. How can you be so selfish? These overgrown babies. The neighbors heard this, and all chimed in. Some even had the nerve to suggest moving the generator to their place, so it's easier for everyone to use. Listen to that. Is that even human talk? Boss Ma has money. Why don't you go rob him? I immediately switched to video mode, facing the camera. I cursed out old lady Zhou's ancestors for 18 generations. Every single one of them. Finally, I even had old Hey bark at the camera, a few times for good measure. As soon as the video was posted, the group chat fell dead silent. Can't win. Just can't win an argument. Seeing me in the video, wearing just a t-shirt, sipping coffee leisurely, Su Qing's family completely lost it. It's -40 degrees outside. Water freezes instantly. They're wrapped in curtains, freezing their butts off. And me? Not only do I have power, I also installed a top-tier insulation system and independent heating. The room's a constant 78 degrees. When I casually mentioned in the group chat, in a nonchalant tone, that I'd just finished a workout, was all sweaty, and was about to take a hot shower, the Su family's mentality completely shattered. Xiao Qian cried herself sick, regretting not clinging to me tighter back then. Su Qing's regret was even deeper. Looking at the useless Wang Hao beside her, she felt like kicking him 3 times. Soft tactics didn't work, so these people finally showed their fangs. That old darling Su Daohua slammed the table, his eyes vicious like a hungry wolf. You don't want face? Since he won't let us in, we'll force our way in. I don't believe that useless guy can stop all of us. Watching the Su family approach my villa, carrying knives, planning to force their way in. Oh, good, my machine gun has been itching for action. The Su family couldn't take the cold in their rental anymore. Finally, they showed their true colors as robbers. They justified their robbery as simply taking back what was theirs. They called breaking and entering an act of self-preservation. Even that gold digger who wanted to play both sides, Zhao Qian, thought I was a dead man this time. She decided to follow the Su family down this dark path. They marched in force towards my villa. They even came up with a honey trap plan. Su Qing was to lure me out, while the others ambushed me from the shadows. Too bad. Their every move was captured clearly by my surveillance cameras. Su Qing stood at the garage door and called me. Her voice was dripping with fake remorse. Honey, I know I was wrong. If you just forgive me, you won't have to cook anymore. We can even eat at the same table again. Listen to that. Is she for real? Before, at home, I wasn't even allowed to eat at the table. And now, that's her grand gesture of sincerity? I straight up called her crazy. Seeing that the soft approach failed, Su Qing immediately showed her true self. She threatened me, telling me not to refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. I hung up, watching the idiots on the surveillance feed, eagerly holding their weapons. A cruel smile curved on my lips. You want to play rough? Bring it on. With Su Qing's lure failing, Su Dahua gave the order. Su Qingyan and Wan Hao grabbed crowbars and started prying at the door. They thought it was just a regular security door. Little did they know, it was a half-meter thick titanium alloy steel plate, and it was electrified. After just a couple of pries, Su Qingyan felt a jolt through his body. He yelled, "It's live!" before the words left his mouth. All three of them dropped, like shocked loaches. They hit the ground instantly, foaming at the mouth and convulsing violently. Matsuelan screamed in terror. She cursed me, calling me heartless. I leisurely opened the door and stepped out with Lao Hei, looking at this bunch who were so arrogant just moments ago, now lying on the ground, groaning like trash. Well, weren't you going to finish me? Get up and hit me.